In a world where anime protagonists, multiple undead people, and Hook exist, it doesn't seem out of place for celebrities to wrestle or even appear in the world of wrestling. Some celebrities to appear include Cyndi Lauper, Andy Kaufman, and Trae Young, which brings this certain video to mind.
Trae Young looks like my dad's dick! I never saw my dad's dick! He still looks like shit!
However, seeing celebrities get in the ring is much more rare, however not unseen. People like Mr. T, Maria Menounos, and Snooki come to mind. However, there are a lot more, and some a lot more obscure. I watched 32 matches from 23 wrestlers in 2 groups, and here's what I found. Both the surprising and the mediocre. The closest thing to professional wrestling is the world of other sports. In the earliest event I was able to find of celebrities, more specifically athletes, getting in the ring was the WWF vs NFL Battle Royal at WrestleMania 2, which featured Hall of Fame offensive lineman Jimbo Covert, defensive lineman Harvey Martin and Ernie Holmes, 4-time Pro Bowler Bill Fralick, tight end Russ Francis, and the most famous of them all, William the Refrigerator Perry. And my thoughts on this match? It was bad, not the worst I've seen, but it was a bad opener. 2 out of the 6, Covert and Holmes, get eliminated almost immediately while everyone else major goes for Fridge, who seems to be the biggest target. After a while, Fridge eliminates Tony Atlas, and Harvey Martin eliminates himself as well as Pedro Morales. Bill Fralick gets eliminated by the Iron Shaking Big John Studd. Fridge is a house of fire and almost eliminates Jim the Anvil Neidhart with a tackle, leading to Fridge and Studd going at it, and Fridge gets stumped out. Then, not shown, Fridge eliminates Studd by pulling him out with a handshake, and also not shown, the Hearts eliminate Russ Francis. This match was not good, despite having people like eventual winner Andre the Giant, the Iron Sheik, Big John Studd, Tony Atlas, the Hart Foundation, and fucking Bruno Sammartino. There were so many good people in this match, yet the match was bad. All of the NFL people got eliminated early with the exception of Fridge and Francis, so most likely they just took it for the easy paycheck. The next major sports star to step into the ring was Lawrence Taylor, facing and beating Bam Bam Bigelow at WrestleMania 9. But outside of that, we wouldn't see an athlete get into limited action inside the ring until Dennis Rodman would join WCW's NWO Hollywood and would wrestle a total of 4 matches over 1997 and 1998. These matches were a tag match where he and Hogan would lose to the Giant and Lex Luger by disqualification, a rematch with Giant and Luger would win clean, and a hardcore match where he would lose to the Macho Man Randy Savage. However, to explain the one WCW match I reviewed, we have to take an aside to look at another sport. Most people probably know about the rivalry between the Utah Jazz and Chicago Bulls in the late 90s. While they only met in the NBA Finals for 2 years, those being in 1997 and 1998, it was always a big fight field between what most considered the 2 best teams in the NBA at that point in time. Comparing the stats of Rodman and his main matchup, Karl Malone, you'd come to the same conclusion most people do. In the game of basketball, Malone is the obviously better player. He outscored, outplaymaked, and basically outperformed Rodman on anything that wasn't defense. However, that's what made the difference. Malone, across his 19 NBA seasons, never won an NBA ring and only made the finals twice. Rodman, in 14 years, won 5 rings and 5 appearances. Both are in the NBA Hall of Fame and are a part of the NBA 75th anniversary team. However, Rodman is remembered much more fondly than Karl Malone, and that might be because of Malone doing some unsavory things, but it's also because of the huge charisma gap between Rodman and Malone, something that would show up even more than usual in their match at WCW Bash at the Beach in 1997. At WCW Bash at the Beach 1997, NWO Hollywood, more specifically Dennis Rodman and Hollywood Hulk Hogan, took on the team of Diamond Dallas Page and Karl Malone in a regular tag match. This was Rodman's second ever match and Malone's debut, and in my opinion, they are on similar levels in terms of skill. Rodman seemed to use athleticism to his advantage, and Malone worked slightly less athletic, but in terms of skills they are similar. However, Rodman comes off as being so much better to me. This is due to his natural charisma and his look. When you look at Malone in his wrestler gear, he comes off as a random indie wrestler or an enhancement talent you see Wardlow squash on a random episode of Dynamite. Rodman, however, looks much more like a star. He has a notable look and a huge personality. This is someone you want to see on your TV every week, either there to cut a promo or get in the ring, and that's what makes the difference. Rodman is the much better performer because of his look and personality. While this will be the last time we see Malone get in the ring, However, we'd see Rodman a couple more times. The aforementioned matches with Luger and the Giant, as well as that match with Macho Man. He would also show up in iGeneration Wrestling at their Rodman Down Under event, losing an Australian Outback match, basically an Extreme Rules match, to Curt Hennig for the latter's IGW World Heavyweight Championship, which shows more of Rodman's selling ability, even through a table spot where the table would not break. This match, however, would be the last actual wrestling match Rodman would wrestle. However, he wouldn't be the last larger-than-life giant to make sporadic appearances in the world of professional wrestling. Shaq is known for many things: Hall of Fame basketball player, rapper, actor, having a doctorate, being a businessman, and being a broadcaster.
Guangdong Tigers. Ni hao! Ni hao!
And on April 3rd, 2016, he added professional wrestler to that list by entering the 3rd annual Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 32. His actual contributions to the match were minimal though. He eliminated Damien Sandow and helped Big Show chokeslam Kane before getting eliminated by basically the whole field. Shaq didn't do much in this match, but he was a presence, and this wouldn't be the last time we would see the big Aristotle get in the ring, as on March 3rd, 2021, Shaq stepped into the ring one more time, this time in a mixed tag team match in AEW. He would team with the debuting Jade Cargill to take on the man with adrenaline in his soul, and Red Velvet, who replaced Brandy Rhodes in the match after she announced she was pregnant. Shaq would show more of what makes him great. While he's not as athletic as his younger days of being in the NBA, which is expected given how much basketball would do to your knees, he's still athletic. He was also willing to take a table bump, which was forgotten to be padded underneath, and he even hit a powerbomb. Shaq is a good wrestler and has an even better personality, and I hope Shaq shows up for a couple more matches before he decides to hang it up. However, in terms of chronological order, we are getting a bit off track, as this is 2016 and not 2008 where we should have been. So, let's go back in time and take a look at another celebrity match in another WrestleMania.
Let's get ready to rumble!
At WrestleMania 24, the David and Goliath storyline was flipped on its head. Floyd Mayweather, standing at 5'8" and 150 pounds, was the Goliath in his rivalry with the 7-foot Big Show, with that only being because the former broke the latter's nose at No Way Out the previous month. And this match shows Goliath losing to David for a while, as whenever Big Show has a chance to wrestle, he takes over the match. However, the numbers game ended up being too much for Big Show, as Floyd Mayweather ended up beating the Big Show by knockout after hitting him with a loaded punch. This match, while cheesy, was kinda good because it told the story well, and Big Show was able to help Floyd through it. And this wouldn't be the last time we'd see a botch again in the ring, and we see one of those in an episode of Raw about 2 years later. One of the greatest boxers of all time, Mike Tyson, was the guest host of Raw on the January 11th, 2010 edition, where, in the main event of the show, he would team up with Chris Jericho to face Shawn Michaels and Triple H of D-Generation X, where Tyson would step in any sort of ring for the first time since 2005. Tyson in this match was still good. He had great ring awareness and was still very fluid. And he even got a quick heel turn in on Jericho by knocking him out at the end of the match. While this was good, there would be a Tyson 9 years in the future who would show him up completely. That Tyson would be Tyson Fury, who would face Braun Strowman in Saudi Arabia at WWE's Blood Money pay-per-view Crown Jewel, and he was honestly pretty good. He was quick on his feet and could do some chain wrestling. However, I only have one complaint. Braun made him look like a bitch in the lead up to this, and I figured he would have squashed him. But he was pretty good, even though he still looked fairly greener than most celebrities, but I would definitely want to see him in the ring again. However, I saved the best athlete for last, and that man is Pat McAfee, the former punter for the Indianapolis Colts and current WWE color commentator who actually wrestled 3 matches in his career, 2 of those in WWE and both of those against Adam Cole, so go over those first. NXT TakeOver 30, Pat McAfee was stepped into the ring to face Adam Cole in a match that had a year or so of build-up. And Pat definitely plays a heel well. He shows his athleticism well, he's going to jump off and on the top turnbuckle, and he also has the best dive of the celebrities I reviewed in total. His selling, acting, and actual wrestling ability would show up again in the War Games match at NXT TakeOver War Games 4, where he would team with Danny Burch, Oney Lorcan, and Pete Dunne to take on the Undisputed Era, where his team would lose. But, however, those weren't the first matches he would wrestle. His debut match would come on March 22nd, 2009, where he would wrestle an IWA East Coast Scarcade event in South Charleston, West Virginia, and that's on YouTube, so let's see what's there. It's kinda blurry, and whoop, there's a weird guy in the ring, and he has a pig mask. While music is important to a wrestler and even to an athlete, it's rare to see a musical artist or artist step into a ring than an athlete. I was able to find 3 of them, so let me start with the worst one and go up in quality from there. On the 1st of January 2007, John Cena faced rapper and actor Kevin Federline, sometimes known as K-Fed, in a no disqualification match. There was too much time wasting for a nothing match that Federline only won because of Umaga, Armando Estrada, and John Morrison. Plus, Kevin Federline was one of John Cena's 6 single losses that year, the others being Umaga, the Great Khali, Shawn Michaels, Edge, and Carlito, which makes Federline and WWE's booking even worse. You don't give the top person in your company a loss to a celebrity, and especially their first loss of the year. It's infuriating that WWE would do this and that they would mishandle it this much. However, both earlier and later than this, the wrestling industry would book musicians much better as wrestlers. One of these were the Insane Clown Posse, a hip-hop group who run their own promotion. They also wrestled in multiple other promotions, including the WWF, WCW, and Ring of Honor. I decided to review their only match in WWF, a match in WCW, their only match in Ring of Honor, and one match from their own promotion, JCW. What did I think of it? Well, to quote the great MJF, the Insane Clown Posse were just okay. They didn't do much actual wrestling, and I did not like JCW or them on commentary at all.
Well, I got laundry I gotta do. I gotta run and pick up a pizza. And who the fuck is this?
But that could be a separate topic for a later video. Their best match that I watched, in my opinion, was the only one I don't have footage for, which was the match where they teamed up with Vampiro to take on the team of Billy Kidman, Eddie Guerrero, and Rey Mysterio Jr., then known as the Filthy Animals, at WCW Road Wild 1999, where there was more wrestling than brawling and actual smart tactics used by the Insane Clown Posse. While some people consider them to be the best musicians to get in the ring, I throw my own hat in the ring and say it's Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny made his in-ring debut at WrestleMania 37 Night 1, teaming with Damian Priest to take on The Miz and John Morrison, and he did so well. He was able to chain wrestle, strike fairly well, and hit many moves, some of them being a T. Harris, a Falcon Arrow, and even a Canadian Destroyer that would make Petey Williams proud. If you wanted to, I can imagine being a fairly good wrestler if you were to move away from music and become a professional wrestler, but why would he? He makes too much money from music. But anyways, it's so nice to see such a major celebrity with a passion for the business like he does. While the group of actors, comedians, and people who didn't fit the flow of the previous sections is fairly low in quality, there are a lot of them, so I'm going to do a lightning round to get past the mid or unimportant.
Ready? Go!
Lewis Hamilton is an F1 driver who teamed with Mephisto to take on Mystico, the former Sin Cara, at some CMLL event before the 2015 Mexico GP. He's fairly athletic and doesn't seem that bad. On the complete other side of the spectrum, we have Jay Leno, who teamed up with Diamond Dallas Page to take on Hogan and Eric Bischoff 1 month after Rodman and Malone teamed up with Hogan and Page respectively. What is it with Page and Hogan being in matches with celebrities? Anyways, this match is bad. Jay Leno did the worst of anyone I watched. Hell, even Kevin Eubanks did better and he wasn't even in the match. To go to the middle of these two, I would look at Jackass stars Steve-O and Chris Pontius. While they might not have been in an actual match, they both got the piss beat out of them by Umaga. Some of it worked and some of it shoot. But this tag team maneuver where Pontius flips Steve-O is kinda cool. Some others are Jeep Swenson and Tiny Lister, better known by his ring name Zeus, who were actors and wrestlers who were most known for wrestling in a Triple Cage match at WCW Uncensored 1996. Both looked menacing, but weren't very special. At least look at Zeus props for flipping Abdullah the Butcher during the match in 1990. That was fairly fast, but anyways, let's get on to our last 3. I'll preface this first one by saying, are you a professional wrestler or a celebrity if you probably wrestled the ace of New Japan Hiroshi Tanahashi while you were in college? This was more of an obscure selection, but I decided to include it anyways. Masaki Sumitani is a Japanese comedian and former occasional professional wrestler, best known for performing under his persona Razor Ramon Hardgay, or HG. He mainly worked for the Japanese promotion Hustle, brought by the same people who brought you Pride FC. I was able to find 2 of his matches online, one of those being his debut match at WrestleMania 2005, where he would team up with Naoya Ogawa and Shinjiro Otani to take on Toshiaki Kawada, Yoji Ano, and Yingling the, I have several questions, and I'm gonna get none of them answered. Anyways, through this and his match 2 years later against Bob Sapp, we can see a few things. HG is a fluid, athletic wrestler who knows how to sell and plays a comedic gimmick that was over with the fans at the time, pushing him as a top babyface. His finisher is a tombstone pile driver called the 69 driver, and he came out to the song Living La Vida Loca. He's also one of 3 on this list to win a title, whether it's real or virtual, as he won the VGCW Community Hardcore title, defeating Cameron Grimes on the Season 3 Episode 2 of Heimcraft's community show Hot Smackdown, and were defended on the Hustle Watch-alongs, defeating the likes of Kushida, Giant Silva, and Monster Bono, before dropping on the August 17th edition of the VGCW Online Specials to Final Fantasy character Umaru. This 24-day title reign added him to the short list of Bad Bunny with the WWE 24/7 Championship, and a man we've yet to look at. That man is former WCW champion David Arquette. Yeah, that did happen, and the idea for that match was stupid. What champion would be willing to put their title on the line in a match where your own partner can steal the title? Well, anyways, after winning the title and dropping it to Jeff Slapnuts Jarrett, he would make an appearance on WWE's Raw in 2010 in a match that was just as bad as his WCW World title win, and then, about 7 years later, decided to run the indie circuit in order for the business to restore faith in him. The 2 matches I was able to find on YouTube were his match against Colt Cabana at First Wrestling Palooza 14, and at Ethan Page's Alpha 1 Immortal Combat 8 event. And he did really well. He actually performed moves and sold like a king, and even got into some comedy spots, especially in this match to Ethan Page with the beer spot.
I can't tell who he's calling over there. He's having a drink.
Also, before I move on to the last guy who has definitely wrestled on the biggest stage, let me just say, first stage is great. The last person I want to cover is, who I thought going into this would be the second best celebrity wrestler, is Stephen Amell, the main actor in CW series Arrow. Stephen wrestled 3 matches, one in SummerSlam 2015 where he teamed up with Neville to take on Stardust and King Barrett, and the match was okay. Stephen did the basics and did them well. He would wrestle again 2 years later at Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor, where he would team with the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Cody Rhodes, he's back again, to take on the team of SCU, which is the Addiction and Scorpio Sky, and Flip Gordon. Stephen did approve, he played the crowd well and hit a fucking Meltzer driver, but he didn't wrestle fluidly. This problem would still show up in his only singles match in 2018 at All In, where he faced Christopher Daniels, however it would be in less quantities. Stephen is a good wrestler, no doubt. He has all the basic skills and has great athleticism, and I would love to see him get in the ring again in AEW, but he's still not that good, which brings me to my last point. Most of the matches that I watched, especially the celebrities, weren't that good, which is to be expected. Wrestling, hell, even training to wrestle, is grueling and tough, and I wouldn't expect celebrities to dedicate all their time to training. However, the ones that did, like Arquette, Razor Ramon HG, Bad Bunny, Stephen Amell, and a few others, made magic within the ring. However, despite most taking it for a paycheck, I want to see celebrities get in the ring even more. I want to see Kid Bandit take on the protagonist of Arrow, Stephen Amell. I want to see Shaq kick Cody's ass in an actual match. I want to see David Arquette in the Battle Royal. I even want to see LeBron get in the ring after he retires, because that would be fun. I want to see this because wrestling is fun. Despite it being tough, it is fun. But I'm sure you already knew that, cause in the great words of the late Sean O'Hare, I'm not telling you something
that you don't already know.
Thanks for watching.